The 2024 season goes down in history as one of the most competitively diverse we've ever seen. For the first time, 4 teams achieved 1-2 race results, but it was McLaren who emerged as the 2024 world champion team. But how McLaren did it? What strategic upgrades and aerodynamic changes helped them turn the tide to their side after a long wait of 26 years? Let's find out. The competitive switchover from Red Bull dominance to McLaren so often being faster happened at the Miami Grand Prix, round 6 of the championship. This is where McLaren introduced their big upgrade, a crucial part of which was a front wing featuring much more aero-elasticity than before. This was game-changing technology, causing a major pivot in the competitive shape of the season. For the reasons why, we need to look at how Red Bull initially mastered the ground effect regulations, introduced in 2022. They found an advantage over everyone through a better integration of suspension and aerodynamics, as explained by technical director Pierre Wache. We had an aspect of the car which allowed us to rebalance the car from track to track. Wache explains. We benefited from this for 2 years, but now the others have introduced this front wing deflection to allow them to balance the car, and in that aspect they are now in front of us. To be able to rebalance the car without this, you need some movement in the suspension, and the softer you are, the better that is, which is good to allow you to tune the balance, but maybe not for downforce. The front wing deflection of our rivals allowed them to rebalance their car but retain a much stiffer suspension. This was the step change we saw in Miami, and a few races later, Mercedes followed McLaren in introducing their own more flexible front wing. With these wings, which meet all the regulation load and deflection tests, a more aggressive flap angle can be used to combat the inherent low-speed understeer of these cars. Then, as the elements flex downwards under the squaring load of speed, the wing depowers relative to the rear wing downforce, combating the high-speed oversteer. The narrowness of that window between low-speed understeer and high-speed oversteer is the major limitation inherent to this generation of car. The bigger the spread of corner speeds of a track, the worse the problem becomes. The aeroelastic front wing is a powerful tool in making that window bigger. Without such a wing, and with the aero balance stuck in such a narrow window, any balance changes can only really be made with the mechanical aspects of the car, springing, damping, differential, etc. For this to be effective requires the suspension to be softer, to give the necessary responsiveness to changes. This, in turn, limits how much downforce can be used at high speeds, as the car squashes its floor into the ground, and so will typically need to be run with a bigger ride height than a more stiffly sprung car. The higher the ride height, the less peak downforce the underfloor will produce. Before the advent of this wing technology, which is incredibly complex, time-consuming and costly to research and manufacture, Red Bull had an advantage over the field through the highly intricate way their underfloor design was integrated with the suspension to give characteristics which produced a wide range of good downforce through the speed range without chasing peak downforce. This intricate knowledge and understanding was evidently better than that of any other team in the first 2 years of the ground effect regulations, but has essentially been made obsolete by the new solution to the balance problem pioneered by McLaren. The Red Bull philosophy hit an apparent ceiling as the team found any attempt at adding more downforce to their car just worsened the balance. The intricate combination of suspension and aero also tended to make it a more time-consuming car to set up during a race weekend, and very often we saw the car transformed on Saturdays after a difficult time of it in Friday practice, and lots of overnight work on setup. The competitive switchover was sudden and happened at Miami. For those looking for an explanation of the switch-like change in the competitive order from that race onwards, this is it. With this said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting F1 insights. See you next time.